burst, bursts, burst, have burst. Present, I burst, you burst, he, she, it bursts, we burst, you burst, they burst. Example, he always bursts into tears. Past, I burst, you burst, he, she, it burst, we burst, you burst, they burst. He bursts all of our hopes. He burst all of our hopes. Present perfect, have or has burst. Past perfect, had burst. Present progressive, I am bursting. You are bursting. He, she, it is bursting. We are bursting. You are bursting. They are bursting. I'm bursting to tell you what happened. Past progressive, I was bursting. You were bursting. He, she, it was bursting. We were bursting. You were bursting. They were bursting. We were just bursting after Thanksgiving dinner. Future, will burst. A future progressive, will be bursting. Future perfect, will have burst. Past passive, it was burst, they were burst. For example, the dam was burst by the heavy rains. Complements. Burst meaning break or rupture. The balloons all burst. I was afraid that my eardrums would burst from the sudden pressure change. Burst meaning be filled to the breaking point. The auditorium was bursting with students. Burst meaning to explode, often figurative. The rock, it burst above the spectators' heads. The bushes are just bursting with blossoms. Burst meaning give way to sudden emotion. I felt like my heart would burst. I was bursting with pride. Burst, an object meaning cause to break or explode. The explosion burst the windows. The other kids burst all the balloons. The hurricane burst the retaining walls. Burst for object plus infinitive, meaning be very eager. We were bursting for him to tell us. I am bursting for Mary to see what we have done. Infinitive, I am bursting to know what happened. The kids are bursting to open their presents. Phrasal verbs, burst in on, to interrupt suddenly. The secretary burst in on the private meeting. Burst in or into, enter suddenly. The children burst into the room. Burst onto, emerge suddenly in a location. The singer burst onto the stage. Burst out, explode outward. When the glass burst out, I was cut by flying shards. Burst out, meaning to begin suddenly to do something. We all burst out laughing at the joke. Burst out into, begin an activity suddenly. After the accident, Kathleen burst into tears. When I heard bongo drums, I burst into song. Burst out of, be too big for. She was embarrassed to be bursting out of her dress. Burst out of, leave quickly. At midnight, the partygoers burst out of the hall. Burst through, to break with force. The typhoons burst through the enemy line.